Chapter 1, Mishnah 13. This Mishnah, which also appears in Gittin, Chapter 4, Mishnah 5, discusses a Canaanite slave who was owned by two partners and then freed by one of them. He is now half slave and half free. Someone who is half slave and half free, he works one day for his master and one day for himself. That is, the income from one day of his work belongs to his master, and the income from the next day is his own, and so on. These are the words of Beis Hillel. Beis Shammai challenged Beis Hillel. Beis Shammai said to Beis Hillel, with this arrangement you have solved the slave master's problem of how to get his fair share of the slave's work, but you have not solved the half-slave's own problem. He is stuck in a situation in which he cannot marry. He cannot marry a slave woman because the half of him that is free has the same laws as a regular Jew who is forbidden to marry a slave woman. And he cannot marry a free woman, i.e. an ordinary Jewish woman, because half of him is a slave and a regular Jewish woman is not allowed to marry a slave. Shall he give up marriage altogether and not bear any children? But the world was created only so that people would have children who would populate it. As it is stated in Isaiah 45:18, God did not create the world to be deserted. He formed it to be inhabited. Since God's plan for the world was that people have children, we must find a way to let the half-slave marry and have children. Beis Shammai state what should be done. Rather, for the benefit of society, that is to make it possible for the slave to marry and have children, we force his master to free the half that he owns and make him a completely free man, so that he may marry a free woman. And to compensate the master for his loss, the slave must write a contract that obligates him to pay the master half his value. When the freed slave has that amount of money, he must pay it to the master. Beis Hillel then retracted their original ruling and began to rule like Beis Shammai.